Hi folks, and welcome to a new video. Sorry it's been a wee while. I've been busy stuffing my face full of turkey, Yorkshire puddings, gravy, peas, you know, all the good Christmas stuff. Hope you've had a great Christmas too, and now I'm back in the routine of making videos, so you know, normal service will resume. So today's video is going to be focusing on a few things that I like to share with you about how to practice and how to maximize, you know, efficiency when you are practicing. There's a couple of great reasons why you want to maximize your practice time, because it means that you're practicing less, but you're also improving a lot quicker because of it. So whether you're practicing for 8 hours a day or 20 minutes, these tips should help you in some way. And it goes without saying, these tips are great for, you know, beginners to professionals. You know, this is just very general tips, but they'll make your practice time much more effective, and you'll hopefully see an improvement of your skills and development on your instrument. So let's just dive into the first tip. So the main thing you want to do when you're practicing is you want to set a couple of goals. You don't want to be just practicing aimlessly, because you'll find yourself being distracted by new things, and it's very easy to get distracted, and if you try to do all these things at the same time in a practice session, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to be able to do any of them. So when you are setting goals, you should set a couple of goals. You should set a short-term goal and a long-term goal. So an example of a long-term goal could be, I don't know, you want to get better at playing jazz. And your short-term goal could be, I want to be able to comp my left hand more effectively. So you've got your long-term goal, which is a bit more general, and a kind of more short-term goal, which is focusing in on one element of that long-term goal. What you should do with these short-term goals is you should make them very much tangible, and what I mean by that is you can actually measure the goal. So let's say I want to learn to play faster single stroke rolls. And my short-term goal could be, I want to be able to play single stroke rolls at 180 BPM by the end of the month. And that means it's something you can work towards, and it's something that you can measure and see how you're progressing towards that goal. And it's something that is really motivating, because when you get to that goal, you can be like, yes, I did it, you know? It's really important that you have that measurable goal. Instead of just saying, I want to be a faster drummer, say, I want to be able to play single strokes at blah 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 BPM in blah 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 amount of time. It's important that you make these goals realistic though, because if you do say, I want to play, you know, 250 BPM single strokes by the end of today, you're going to be a bit disappointed, because these things take time, and if you're not reaching your goals, you'll find yourself a bit demotivated and let down. So make these goals very much doable, you know, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you're not achieving something. But if you just do small little steps and goals, you feel like you're actually doing stuff, and you'll feel a lot more motivated. So my first tip is make goals, make them doable, and make them measurable, and have a short-term goal and a long-term goal. This is excellent for your practice sessions, because you've actually got something that you want to hone in on, and you're not overwhelmed by every single aspect of drumming, because there's a lot to it, obviously, and if you're just doing it without any goal, you're going to be overwhelmed. So my second tip is to identify your weaknesses and then focus on those weaknesses. It's really easy to get into the practice room and just sit and play the stuff that you already know really well, and it makes you feel good because you're like, yeah, I'm practicing and I can already do it all. But the thing is, if you're practicing and it sounds good, then you're practicing the wrong thing. The point of practice is to improve yourself and challenge yourself. So if you're playing stuff that you already know how to do, then it's not challenging yourself, and it's pretty pointless, to be honest, if you're just practicing the same thing every day. Because if you're making mistakes, it means that you're challenging yourself, and that's a good thing, because it means you'll improve, and the more you do it, you'll get better at it and better, and eventually it'll become one of those things that you can do, and then you can move on to the next thing. So yeah, my second tip is to focus on your weak points and make them strong points. So my third tip for practicing is record yourself. You've probably seen loads of people talk about this and say this for their practice tips, but it really is a hugely valuable thing, because in your head when you're practicing, you might be thinking, oh man, this sounds amazing, I've got this down. This has happened to me a lot. And you record it and you play it back and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, this sounds rubbish. So it's really important that you do record yourself, and it means that you can pick up on things that you haven't maybe noticed while you're playing, but you notice afterwards when you analyze your own playing. So things like grip, or technique, or accuracy on the toms, or timing, all these things. It's a great way of identifying weaknesses, which is where we come back to the second point. Tip number 4 is be consistent and be patient. A good way to think about practicing an instrument is having the same mindset as a bodybuilder. You know, they go to the gym every day. They don't expect to be buff after one gym session. They just go every day, they're consistent. They're doing things that challenge them every day. They're lifting heavier and heavier weights. The same thing should apply to your instrument. You know, you're meant to be improving yourself, and that's what practice is for. And so it's not going to happen overnight. So really you have to be consistent in your practice. And that means, you know, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, or, you know, 2 hours a day, or 8 hours a day, some people do, just make it a consistent thing and you'll see improvements happen a lot quicker that way. Because if you're doing it very sporadically, you'll start to forget things, or your muscle memory won't actually kick in, and it won't be as quick a learning process. But if you're consistent, it'll be a much quicker learning process. So the final tip I've got for you is that you should still be enjoying the drum kit. So if you're finding when you're practicing, you're just finding it dull, boring, not enjoyable at all, you should take time at the end of the session, you know, like 10 minutes at the end, to just have some fun on the drum kit. Because I remember I was going through a phase where I was just playing drums, practicing with no music, just a metronome, and I fell out of love with the drum kit. And that's because I was just doing really boring stuff every day on the drum kit. And it meant I was improving, but it didn't make me want to practice. So definitely make time for doing your own thing on the drum kit, as well as doing some proper, you know, focused practice. Because if you're not enjoying it, then it's not much point practicing, because that's the kind of root of everything, that you enjoy playing the instrument, and everything else comes after that. So make sure you make time for that as well. It's almost like a relationship, you know. I'm in a love-hate relationship with my kit. Geez, it's because, it does not like me sometimes, or I do not like it. We go through phases like. But yeah, that is my top 5 tips. I think it was 5. So yeah, those are some tips that you can use for practice. To be honest, you can use that and apply those things to most practicing. It doesn't have to be drum kit, just practicing anything. If you're focused and you're making goals, then you'll improve, basically. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and obviously if you've got any more tips, leave them down below and have some fun with those tips and try applying them yourself, and hopefully you'll see some improvements in your playing, and you'll see some faster improvements. Okay, so that wraps up the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.